Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I'm going to go over some more information about leaves and spikes with you. I had several questions the other day that were really good questions, so I thought I'd cover some of those with you today. This is a phal that is just coming into bloom for me. As you see, it has a huge spike of flowers. I think I'm going to have 11 blooms on this spike. This is a primary spike, meaning it has never bloomed before. And as you see, this is a huge spike. It's like 2 feet long. So that's what this one looks like. As you see, I have trained it to go up this stake. Every 3 or 4 inches, I have these little plastic clamps on this stake that I have. And it has grown really well. So that's how you stake up a spike. You start very early when the spike is only about 3 or 4 inches long. You start way down here, and the straighter you can get it, the more you will get this effect, this long cascading effect. Okay, so I have some secondary spikes as well on this one. I have this one right here, and I just cut this spike right behind where it was blooming before. So I'm looking to see if I get another spike of flowers from this. As you see, it's not turned brown, so I'm not going to cut it down because it might bloom again from one of these nodes. I have another secondary spike right over here. So I'm just keeping an eye on these two. You see, I just left it staked up with that spike. Okay, so here's another orchid that was in bloom for 1.5 years for me. And I wanted to show you what it looks like when they're not in bloom. Do you see how I left this part where it did bloom on the plant? I know that doesn't look very pretty, but I'll leave it on there because I don't know where this is going to rebloom from. This one spike has rebloomed for me 3 times. So I'm very hopeful that on one of these nodes, here's a node here, and here's a node right here, and there's another lower one. Let me see if I can find it way down here on this plant. So I'm wondering if it's going to bloom yet again. But I'll leave these spikes on my Phalaenopsis type orchids because you never know, they might bloom for me again. Now, if this starts turning brown, I'm just going to wait to see what turns brown and not cut it off until I see if it all turns brown all the way back to the crown of the spike. Because down to the last node, right down here, it still has a chance that it might rebloom from this spike. So I don't want to cut it off. Several of you have asked, when it turns brown, what do I do? I don't do anything to it at all until it turns brown all the way down to the crown of the plant. That way you know that that spike is not going to rebloom for you again. And another question I had is, what do I do with the brown leaves? Are they damaged in any way? The brown leaves that are on the bottom of your plant, the older leaves, they will turn brown, as I've mentioned before. Sometimes you will just have a leaf turn brown on the very bottom of the plant. As long as it's turning brown on the bottom, it's no problem. If it's turning brown up here, that's a different story. That is an indication of crown rot, and that's not a good sign. But if one of your older leaves on the bottom of the plant turns brown, that is totally normal. It's just part of their growth process. So you don't do anything with these. You don't cut them off because all of the energy from this leaf is going to go back into this plant. So you want for those nutrients to go back into the plant from this leaf. Okay, here's another one of my phals. And I put it in too much direct sunlight. And do you see this right here? This is a sunburn on this leaf. So what do I do with this? Is there any way for me to fix this? Unfortunately, no. But as you see, it's got a new leaf. This leaf is going to come out and grow this way. And then the next time I get a leaf, it's going to come out and grow this way and cover that leaf. So once your leaves are damaged with sunburn, once they're damaged with the sun, you can't fix that. So that's the reason why I'm very careful to keep my Phalaenopsis orchids out of direct sunlight. This one was too close to a window. It was sunburnt before I knew it, and that's the way that goes. But it'll be okay. Next year it'll have a new leaf. You won't even know it. So let's talk a little bit about light today. As you see in the very front of this room, in the western windows, I have my Vandas. I also have my Cattleya, and they can easily handle western exposure sunlight. That is afternoon sunlight. The hottest temperatures are over here, okay? Now, over here I have my Dendrobiums, and they're fine. This is the fall of the year, and they're fine in this much light for right now. But as you see, as you go back in the room, I have my Phalaenopsis orchids. These don't like a lot of direct sunlight. They like cool light. Like, let's say eastern exposure, early morning sun, or very late afternoon sun. Do you see how this is already dispersed light even though it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon? So you don't want them to have hot sun on them, or that's where you get your leaves damaged with sunburn. The place that I had, the one that I just showed you that was sunburned, I had that one up where the Dendrobiums are right now. They just don't like that much light. So you need to pull them back in your room or put them in a window that gets eastern facing light, and you're going to be fine. But once they're sunburnt, then there's no going back. That leaf is going to be sunburnt until another one grows out over it, which is kind of a bummer, but it was my mistake. And what I'm showing you right here is my eastern facing windows. It's a beautiful fall day here in Tennessee. I just kind of had to give you a really pretty view. But I'm going to back up and I'm going to show you. These are my phals that are in the eastern windows. They really like eastern light and dispersed late afternoon light. But don't ever put them in direct sunlight or you'll get a sunburn. And that's just, it is a bummer. But like I said, it's just one of those things that happens. You have to be careful to check your windows from season to season, just to make sure that they're not getting too much light for your phals. With your other ones, with your Vandas, the afternoon sunlight, they love it. As a matter of fact, the more sunlight you give these, the more they like it, the more they're going to grow. Here's my 2 blooming phals that are in my western facing windows. But as you see, there's plants that grow up by these windows, so they just receive dispersed light in these western facing windows. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you can see just about how much light they're receiving. This is perfect for this is perfect for Phalaenopsis orchids. And we've kind of come full circle. Here is this beautiful white phal. It's in a western facing window. What I was going to tell you that's unusual about this window is right now there's a tree that has turned colors, beautiful colors, that's right outside this window. And so in the summer and in the fall, it's absolutely fine to grow a phal in this window. But in the winter, when the leaves fall off that tree, it gets really hot sunlight in the afternoon. You wouldn't think so in the winter, but it gets direct sunlight. And I've actually had some sunburnt leaves just from having a phal in this window in the winter. So just check your windows seasonally and make sure you know how much light you're getting. Even in the winter, you can get, the sun can tilt a certain way and it can come in a window so that it will actually sunburn a leaf. So I thought I'd just give you those little tips for today, and you all be highly favored, deeply loved, and greatly blessed. And we'll talk to you all next time.